Hello, welcome to the LSE's series of short videos on influencing. My name is Duncan Green, and in this first video I'm just going to set out some definitions, some terms, so that we're all on the same page, and set out the ideas and cool tools and concepts that we're going to deal with in the rest of the videos that follow. First, what do we mean by this term influencing? There's quite a long definition from Oxfam on the slide. But the point I want to make here is that it's a wide concept. It's a broad concept that covers anywhere where someone or some institution is trying to influence the broader system beyond their immediate point of control, delivering a program or running a school or something, trying to influence that wider system. That's influencing, and that can be in the private sector, in government, in the international system, at a community level. For us, those are all kinds of influencing. And those kinds of influencing involve different techniques. They can just be about solidarity, supporting people in struggle, helping them build certain capacities if they want those capacities built. I'm a bit skeptical about the whole term capacity building, but that's another conversation. It can mean bringing people together so that they fire off each other, they bounce off each other, they form coalitions, they inspire each other. Often that building of coalitions is a crucial stage in a change process. It often combines both public and private activity. So public activity can be getting things in the media, putting things out on social media, or it can mean protest movements, getting out on the streets, showing big numbers, care about the issue you want to address. Private can be in the corridors of power, trying to persuade, finding the right people to go and talk to the decision makers, coming up with the arguments, the narratives, the information that might persuade people in a position to make decisions to do what you want them to do. And just as influencing covers a very broad range of activities, so there is a very broad range of influences. Anyone interested in changing that wider system. You can be in government, the international system, the private sector, local organizations, protest movements. They all do influencing, but they do it in different ways and they use different tools. And that's what this course of videos and our work at the LSE is about. Depending on where they're located in society, they will use different tactics, different ways of influencing. And they will work in different ways, but whoever they are, we've found, working with people at all ranges of the influencing spectrum, that there are certain key concepts around things like power and systems and windows of opportunity and shocks that work for all of them. So we'll try and show both what is in common and what is distinct. I think a really key distinction is between strategy and tactics. And let's go back to the etymology of these words. Strategy means the general on the hilltops. Apologies if people are offended by military metaphors, but they often come up when you're talking about change. The general on the hilltop has to keep an overview of the field of battle, has to see which forces are rising or falling, what's changing in the situation, which weather is rolling in, which could shape the progress of the battle. When is it going to get dark? When do you move troops around? That is the strategy. The tactics are the foot soldiers in the valley below. And in terms of change processes, that means they are doing specific activities to bring about a change in the balance of power. We'll talk about power in future videos. And those tactics are everything from a Twitter storm to starting a petition to going and have a meeting with a key influencer within government or within a big company. All of these are tactics, but they have to be overseen by this wider strategy. And the one thing you can be pretty sure of is that both your strategy and your tactics will have to change, both as you learn more about the issue and as the situation changes on the ground. So you've got to be adaptable and you've got to be looking, you've got to have antennae out to look for these changes in the situation or in what you know and understand so that you can adapt to them. So with colleagues at the LSE and beyond, I've been working with change makers, influencers at all levels, from the global to the very, very local, on environment, on health, on aid, And we found certain recurring patterns. To create a good influencing strategy, you need to understand the system. You need to map the system, which is very complex. By system, I mean all the interlocking factors which contribute to the problem or prevent your solution being picked up. You need to then unpack that problem, pick it apart, and find points of entry, things that you or your organization or your coalition can do to make a difference. These we're going to go into in more detail in all the future videos. Once you've got your point of entry, you need to look at who influences that point of entry. These are the stakeholders. You need to map them, and then, and only then, you can start thinking about the tactics. Which of the tactics are going to work with these particular stakeholders on this particular ask? And in all of this, as I said earlier, expect the unexpected. There will be shocks. There will be new opportunities. But also there will be small wins, and you need to try and generate those to build momentum. There will be setbacks, and that will be a test of your resilience and the morale that you've built within your alliance. You will need to work adaptively to adapt to all these changes, and that means updating your theory of change, your big picture strategy. Finally, we come to the issue of tools. I started off as a skeptic on tools because I've seen tools become prisons, cages for people. People get obsessed with ticking the boxes in whatever toolkit they're using. Over time, I've actually become much more positive about tools. I think there are some tools which don't do that. They're not cages. They bring oxygen and new ideas, and they help conversations. We have selected the tools that we think achieve that in following through that process of understanding systems, power, stakeholders, and the bridge to tactics. And we'll talk through these in subsequent videos. But I reiterate, please don't let the tools become your master. You must be in charge of the tools, choose the ones that work, ditch the ones that don't.